Chapter 9. In her mother's eyes, I was committing a knife-wielding assault, and the victim was her precious son. It was too late to explain. His mother charged over with murderous intent, tried to yank the car door open, found it locked, and started pounding on the window. I could hear her screaming through the glass, "Clara Bennett, if you dare hurt my son, I'll kill you." Her furious expression was truly terrifying. I turned to Roman. "Do you think she'll attack me if I get out now?" Roman glanced out the window. "I think she might just eat you alive." Staying in the car wasn't a solution. Roman told me to hold his door shut while he got out to explain, which I did. But the moment Roman stepped out, the door on my side was pulled open. Never underestimate the strength of an enraged woman. She dragged me out of the car in an instant, threw me to the ground, grabbed my collar, and slapped me across the face. I'm probably the first writer to get beaten up by my own character. Screw this ridiculous story. I shoved his mother away, got up from the ground, and glared at her coldly. "Don't touch me." Her ring must have scratched me. My face stung. Roman quickly pulled me away from her. His mother raged for a bit before gradually calming down. When she saw the blood on Roman's shirt, she looked like her heart was breaking, and then she started screaming at him to divorce me. Roman isn't great at dealing with confrontational people. When his mother gets like this, she doesn't listen. She just bulldozes ahead with her own agenda. If you disagree, she'll make a scene until you give in. I thought standing there watching this drama was pointless, so I turned to leave. As I walked away, I felt awful. Why does everyone bully me? Why do I always get hit? So I blamed the plot outline. After all, he died because he was rushing the manuscript, so kicking Roman to vent my frustration, wasn't that justified? Then I turned back halfway. Roman's attention was still on his troublesome mother and didn't notice me approaching. I kicked him hard behind the knee. He stumbled forward, barely catching himself on the car hood to avoid falling flat on his face. Then I left, satisfied, leaving behind his mother's sharp, shrill screams. I went straight back to the mansion. When the house manager opened the door, he saw the long scratch on my face and cried out, "Good heavens! What happened? The last injury hasn't even healed yet. Ma'am, don't you care about your face at all?" I couldn't be bothered to explain and went to my room, utterly exhausted. The house manager, seeing my mood, knocked on my door a while later. "Ma'am, the refrigerator is practically empty. Would you like to go grocery shopping with me?" The house manager is really good at reading people. He always knows how to make you feel better when you're down. I rolled out of bed and yelled, "Let's go." At the mall, I went on a shopping spree with the house manager. We arrived with an empty car and returned with it nearly full. It was the first time I'd ever experienced the joy of swiping a card without worrying about the limit, even if it was just in Roman's dream. It was evening when we got back. I couldn't bear to let the elderly house manager carry all the bags, so I took the heaviest ones myself. Entering the house, I found a familiar figure sprawled on the living room sofa. Roman was leaning against the cushions, one leg propped on the coffee table, his suit jacket tossed aside. He was asleep, head tilted to the side, looking completely drained. The house manager took one look and silently retreated into the kitchen. I'd been angry during the day, and I'd kicked him pretty hard. I felt bad about it almost immediately. Roman had been taking care of me here. I shouldn't have taken my frustration out on him. Things were bad enough already. Why make things harder for my only ally? My guilt got the better of me. I put my things down, walked over, and carefully lifted his trouser leg to see if I'd left a mark. It was just a piece of fabric, but I felt strangely nervous, like I was undressing someone. I had to admit, I'd written this character's appearance well. Suddenly, I felt something was off and instinctively looked up at Roman. He had just woken up. There were deep shadows under his eyes. He was still disoriented, his dark eyes hazy. I immediately stood up from my crouch, my face flushing. Don't ask me why I blushed. I was just embarrassed. "What are you doing?" Roman asked, his voice raspy from sleep. I stammered for a long time, but couldn't get anything out. He glanced down at his trousers, rolled up to his calves, and figured it out. He lifted his head lazily. "Feeling guilty?" "Not guilty, just, my conscience hurts." I glared at him, then dropped my eyes, glancing inadvertently at his knee. "You kicked pretty hard, but that's not what you should be worried about right now." Roman stretched and patted the sofa, gesturing for me to sit. "Caspian Hale's mom is trying to have me removed from the company. We might end up sleeping on the street." I was stunned, then quickly sat down and scooted closer. The Caspian Hale I wrote was a CEO. He shouldn't be brought down this easily. Protagonists of plot armor, right? Roman had analyzed the situation. He figured it would take someone about 40 years to build a multinational company like this from scratch. It was probably built on foundations laid by his parents. Furthermore, his mother is the majority shareholder. If she wants to oust Caspian Hale, she can easily make moves behind the scenes. After all, he's her son. He could just apologize, give in, and start over. Roman held up 2 fingers. He said we now had 2 options. 1, divorce you and I keep my CEO position. 2, we both gamble and risk ending up on the street. I reached out and pushed down the finger representing homelessness. "Let's get divorced. At least I can still live in a big house. You have to leave me a place to stay." Roman looked at me helplessly. "Can't you let me finish explaining the second option?" I shook my head like a bobblehead. "I'm not risking life on the streets." Roman gave me a "I knew it" look, picked up his suit jacket, and left. As he went upstairs, he called my name. I turned and looked at him from across the staircase. Forget the divorce. Sleeping on the street seems more reliable. I watched his figure disappear around the corner and couldn't help but roll my eyes. "You'd already made up your mind, so why ask me to choose?" "It's because you talked back to your mother and refused to divorce me that she's kicking you out of the company."